Hello, Awesome Games Done Quick 2026 second submission period games committee. It is a pleasure to be here. I am James Swan, and this is
KuritasKRT, but you can also call me Curry for short.
Thank you, Curry. Now, you're probably wondering what this game is. This is Sworn. Sworn is a roguelike in the similar vein to Hades, but instead of Greek gods, you are dealing with Arthurian mythology. A branch of mythology out of the English Empire at the time. Now, it's a little bit of a unique take on it, admittedly, because instead of King Arthur being the good guy, well, I think everyone knows what we say, no kings. King Arthur has become corrupted by power, and now the Fae courts are working to overthrow him from his corrupt throne and save Camelot and the world. We will be doing a co-op run of this. We've got builds customized to work to each other's strengths and make up for where they fall short, and we will be starting on Squire difficulty, though in the future, once we get it more consistent, we may submit an incentive to upgrade to Knight difficulty, where we would be facing off against more stronger foes with 30% health, 15% more damage, and corruptions on chambers. You might see corruptions in the base run here if we see a trial of corruption, but without further ado, I don't think there's really much else to say. We did stop over by this shop here to get 3 extra twists of fate, or fated dice, whatever you want to call them. Those will help us manipulate RNG throughout the run and get certain items that we really want for our builds. But for now, Curry, you ready to go?
Ready to go. Ready for a countdown?
Yep.
Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. RTA splits have been started. We've got RTA splits running. That way we know how much time this run actually takes, because most of the runs for this game are timed in-game time, which is very nice. Good to have that built in for speedrunning's sake. But at the same time, a little inconvenient when you're trying to get a solid estimate going for how long the run takes.
You certainly are.
Let me reroll that. Hopefully I'll see the enemy I'm looking for. Not seeing what I'm looking for, so we're going to go ahead and do a backup here. Alright, we'll start with that. Not great. We're looking
And of course,
for...
this is a roguelike, so sometimes we will be re-rolling what we get in hopes of getting some more favorable blessings or power-ups for attacks here.
Yep, and depending on the RNG that we get, sometimes it will take a lot longer to get a build going, because when you have no resets, well, you gotta roll with what you're given. And sometimes you will simply just not see a certain Fae Lord in your lineup. And other times you'll start to see them later on in the run, but playing for a long-term build that you know you can build off of from the get-go is usually better. So I'm kind of improvising here as we go. I will go ahead and take Arcane Engine. Regenerates my mana faster. I have burned through a decent number of my fated dice, but I still have a few left, and I'm going to keep holding on to those for safety.
I, on the other hand, have not burned through any of my fated dice, and that is just luck as it is. I've been very fortunate this run so far to grab Oberon, which is my Fae of choice for this build and run. We'll see how far we can take it.
Meanwhile, I normally start with Badab, but I have not seen Badab, which means Badab is either going to show up in the second portion of this run, or will not show up at all, which is also possible. Unfortunate, but a true potential reality. Did a lot of damage there, took a lot of damage, but the fun part of this, since it is a co-op run, is that you get to improvise when that sort of thing happens. You get to play with your co-op partner and see what could possibly be fixed here. RNG is not always going to be perfect, especially in a roguelike like this. Even when you can manipulate your RNG, there's no guarantees here. I'm going to go ahead and take Marked for Death as my first capability there. Reason is, Marked for Death will allow me to regenerate health off of marking enemies, and it will also benefit Curry as well. Gold or Gog? Gold.
You can take gold.
Yeah, gold, since we need the gem from Lancelot down the line. Normally, we wouldn't necessarily be worried about the different things that we are getting. Earlier, you did see us fight a handful of Knights of the Round Table from a challenge given to us by Sir Lancelot himself. Sir Lancelot actually an ally here, turning his back on Arthur and resisting the corruption of the Grail. But he does know the recipe for defeating Arthur. This is probably the harder of the two bosses we could get here, mostly because the other boss has a literal attack where you can just get in and attack from behind without any worries of repercussion.
As you can see, it's already down to half health, so we are taking this down no sweats.
Little aggroed on both of us there. Interesting to see. Normally he picks one or the other. He was mostly focused on me, but he did shift. How much gold do you have?
113, so definitely not
Alright.
enough.
I'm at about 200 right now. I might pick up that Queen Mob Blessing. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Venomous Touch. I'm gonna build for Queen Mob instead of Bottob, since I'm not seeing Bottob and Mob scales pretty well. Reason being, Venom. Venom is just damage over time, so if I know how much damage my Venom is doing, I can stack that Venom damage up and then leave that enemy for later. Either or.
Ooh, alright, let's go Fey Banner then.
Yeah. We're going to take some time loss here going for this Fey Banner, but we both want to scale our builds early on. Damage earned here is time saved later. Now, here we have the chance to possibly get this pretty well done. One of us can manage enemies while the other is getting these Luna Blossoms.
We need one more to finish off the challenge, and that should be it.
Nice.
There we go.
And as you see, a little slower, but possibly worth it in terms of the rewards. I'm going to go ahead and take Beira here. Let's see what we get. I will take Icy Vortex, why not? I can scale off of that ultimate pretty well. Plus, a ultimate that slows down your enemy is never a bad thing, because that slowed pace will always give you more opportunities to strike in the future. And if you notice, some of these hitboxes are a little less generous than some similar games, where if you're anywhere close to an attack, it is going to hit you. But same can be said for enemies as well. We do have a secret shop over here. I'm going to go ahead and take some Faded Dice. I'm not high on gold at all, though. I'm below 100.
Got it. I will be more conservative with my gold then, and I can buy Lancelot's gem in the next shop that we see.
mean, we can always pick it up later if we need to, if we see items for our build that we absolutely don't want to lose or don't want to have to worry about getting down the line. So it is a bit optional to pick it up this early. Yeah. How much do you have?
151.
Yeah, so we're just going to basically be making a pit stop here and walking through to the boss fight. Just saving that time, avoiding an encounter there, not having to worry about taking more damage unnecessarily. And while we are technically missing a horn, which would have allowed us to upgrade some of our abilities, the benefits of this are just saving time in the long run. Alright, that attack. That's yours. As you can see, I'm very much the up-close and personal type attacker here, usually drawing aggro if I can, whereas Curry has range. I'm going to go ahead and pop my ultimate here. We do have to be sure to communicate our ultimates to each other, because if we're not careful, then it is very, very easy to block your teammates' line of sight with your ultimate. One of the worst defenders that is Gogmagog, despite how much we love that gentle giant, or not so gentle giant, I should say. His ultimate is literally just a giant arm coming down from the heavens to smite your enemies. I can take this.
Sure thing.
Yep. Especially since I have natural regeneration capabilities. I can regenerate off of killing enemies with my spell, which is nice. I do need to upgrade my spell down the line. I still need to get a buff for it, but just marking them is enough for the initial start.
In the meantime, I'm relying on my light attack for my primary source of damage.
Gold down
That's what I'm
here.
choosing to build into. Okay, yeah, let's take it.
Yeah, we're going to sacrifice a little bit of time here just to guarantee we have the gold we need down the line. And just utilizing some of the AoE area effects. Gogmagog is probably the better option here, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And now we'll
As
really
you can
just
see, we're in
focusing on-
Cornwall Township right now, which is a very different area.
That it is, that it is. I'm gonna go ahead and take Gog's spell. I haven't seen botted at all, so I'm taking Gog's spell for the stun capability.
Understood. Taking the heavy attack for Gog.
Yep, I've got that too. So we're both going to be working on stunning our opponents, dealing stun damage. That way we can basically keep our opponents controlled in a field of play that we are comfortable with. Make the enemies run at our rhythm, and keep the flow of the game going in our favor. Thankfully, the spell is not the end of the world. I am still able to scale very, very well with this particular build. There is a reason I use this build as opposed to the meta. Ooh, we're going for this, okay. That is time loss, but at this point it is time loss, but I'm guessing that just means that Kuri needs a certain spell still, or a certain ability still.
That's right. I have a few pieces of my build that I don't have present, so I'm willing to take this time loss if it'll mean boosting my damage in the future and saving time by killing enemies quicker.
Yep. And especially with the health pools that certain enemies have later down the line, it isn't necessarily the worst idea. And that was thankfully one of the less dangerous time losses that we could have encountered. One of the potential time losses we could have seen there was just seeing a 45-second timer that we would have had to wait out. Kuri, how much gold do you have?
I have 298. I'll actually hold off.
You clear. Is it okay if I take a upgrade from here?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Nice. Increased rarity for a couple of my abilities. We're really just going to be making a pit stop in here, because sadly we do not have enough for Lancelot's stuff yet, but we should soon. Should be able to get this at the end, but here we have the twins. The twins are one of the two mini-bosses we could see here. These are twin Mauler rats, and they are a pain in the butt to deal with at times, but if we just manage our aggro well and focus in on an enemy ourselves,
Winter is here.
with a little bit of good use case here, like that, we should be nice and in the clear.
That's one red down.
Yep. Stepping back because AoE.
Winter is here.
Ult going out again. That'll finish it off. Nice.
Excellent.
Gold.
let's go
Let's
for
guarantee it.
Yep.
we could finish off that major foe pretty quickly, but we need to ensure that we reach Morgana %. And this is the logic that goes into play when you are going for Morgana %. If we were doing a standard any % run, or Grail % run as it is colloquially named, since you are reaching the Grail and that is the end of the run, Morgana Blessing not worth it. The Grail is the endpoint for the any % run, or Grail % run as many call it. So, if we were just doing that, we wouldn't be worried about picking up all these gems, doing all these extra tasks, having to manage our gold as much as we are. But since we are planning to possibly show off Morgana %, we would like to be able to showcase everything here. It will likely be whichever. Alright?
Let's go. Yeah.
With any % versus Morgana %, we would need to know before the start of the run, as there are the potential to miss some of these abilities if you're not careful. Or some of these gems, I should say. You only get a certain number of chances to pick up these gems in each run that you play. So, managing that well, especially if you're running with a co-op partner, makes it a little easier on both of you. Oh, now I see Bob. Yay! Little late now, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and take the Slippery Target ability, that way I have a 10% chance to dodge at any given time.
I have taken the Bearer Ultimate.
Nice, so we both have Beara's ultimate. So we will be freezing enemies very quickly. I still have Queen Mob as my light attack, so I'm dealing venom damage stacks over time. If I see Mob, I will likely be taking Mob to try and scale that up, if at all possible. But there's only so much you can do. I think here I'm going to increase Venomous Touch. I want to be scaling up that venom damage over time. Gold or shop? How much
try
gold do you
shop
have?
here. 455.
Alright, I've got 272, so this one's gonna be on you, sorry.
No worries. And Lancelot's not here.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that is a chance. That is a chance that that can happen. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and take a Giant Slayer, deal more damage to my stronger enemies. Such as this stronger enemy coming up here. This is Sir Percival. Sir Percival is the second Knight of the Round Table we'll be fighting in this run. We'll be fighting 3 major knights, and then a lot of minor knights right at the end. Percival, a little difficult in terms of some of the area control that he does, but not too dangerous if you are able to read his pattern as well. And since I have the ability to deal damage with a little less commonly used ability here, I can strike from just outside of his range of attack and still be hitting him. And I am stacking all that venom over time. Even when I'm not hitting him, I'm dealing over 100 damage a tick when he's at full stacks of venom. It is very, very useful.
Your ultimate is ready.
And I'm going to go ahead and proc my ultimate immediately after that. And there we go.
There it goes.
Double Beira ultimate. Not really a meta, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and use it. We are improvising on this run.
That's
Because
right, we're
this
improvising
is
with the luck we've
joy-
gotten.
Yep, this is the joy of running roguelikes. And this does not have any sort of seed generator or anything like that. We cannot vet these seeds ahead of time. Whatever we go into, it's going to be a blind dive. And you're going to be seeing us improvise. However, we do know certain things, like this second sword in the stone will be a very powerful thing that we are guaranteed to see. Which is also part of why I have saved one of my faded dice until now.
Sword and Stone blessings are the most powerful blessings you can pick up your run, so it is worth saving some dice if you need to re-roll it.
I'm also taking a quick second to get a little bit of hydration in, but I did get Omni Slash, which means I can hit a lot of enemies at once with my spell now, as opposed to just one, which means now I'm going to be dealing more damage more often and regenning health off of it. Case in point, those two, gone. That one, gone. Or not quite. Close to it, though.
Yeah, that's some nice built-in sustainability for your build.
Yep. So, while I am a bit of a hodgepodge of different deities and blessings here, it is certainly not the standard build I would be going for, but it is a functional build for the purposes I need to serve. And I am constantly regenning my health, which is wonderful. Either or.
Let's go hard.
Yep. Dodge that major foe. Major foes can sometimes be a time save if you can defeat them quickly, but if you can't, then it can be a bit of a slower point in your run. If you're not fully scaled up and dealing massive damage per hit, you are going to probably want to avoid major foes. Now, if we were doing reset after reset after reset until we got our perfect builds, different story. We would probably be going for major foes, as we would basically be able to take them down before they would have a chance to really attack or deal significant damage. You're able to see that a lot more in solo runs, where certain things do scale here to the co-op capabilities, so you do have to keep that in mind. It may still be the easiest difficulty, but some of these things are scaling up to us. And here we are just dodging these attacks as we go. I did take Omni Slash earlier. Now, the benefit of Omni Slash is I can hit multiple opponents in an area. The downside is I do have to aim it.
Storm's ready.
Thankfully, I tend to have pretty decent aim. I'm not the best in the world, but I have speedrun a few shooters in my time. So I'm at least familiar with the concept of aiming. Little bit of a joke there about speedrunning Metal Hellsinger, since we use the explosive crossbow, and you don't have to aim but so much in that game. But for now, we're talking about Sworn. And perfect example of certain things just dealing extra damage there. I'm going to take additional damage over time after dashing. You're scaling for Oberon, yeah?
Correct.
We'll take it.
Much appreciated.
Hey, we're playing for you right now. My build...
All right.
My build's cooked. My build is cooked. I'm just kind of improvising here, alright? Bluntly.
Understood.
I'm making do with game knowledge at this point. Though, that is one of the joyous parts of running a roguelike. You have to have the knowledge to know what to do in a situation like this. If you're running no resets, you have to know how to back things up when they inevitably do go wrong. Nothing is ever guaranteed in a roguelike, and that's the joy of it. I'm going to go ahead and take Approaching Storm. That could be very potent. And there's a mob blessing over here, possibly. I don't have any spiderlings, so I'm going to just leave. I'm not going to take the extra health penalty. I could regen it, but I don't really want to. Horn Strength, it's not really giving us a choice here. Horn Strength will allow us to upgrade what we're already using, so it's certainly not a bad option. And there we go, that poison damage finished it off. You'd love to see the poison going in. Shop here, nothing good for me. Ooh, actually, I will take the Beast's Eye. Ooh, my spell increased by 4 levels, perfect.
Very nice.
That was a gamble there. That was a blatant gamble. But never punished on the gamble. I now have a level 6 spell, so I'm dealing a lot of damage with my spell now.
Worked out.
Not dealing the most damage I could be doing. I have seen much stronger builds from myself in the past, but again, as I said, this build is cooked right now. We're flying by the seat of our pants, and that's the best part of running roguelikes. It is why I am addicted to them at this point. And
That is the joy of it.
the best part of a roguelike like this is the fact that you get to play it with your friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm going to spend the rest of my coin on topping off my HP just for safety here. Lady Bedivere is our next opponent. The third knight of the Round Table. Also, you do love the fact that Arthur was up for diversity and representation in his knights.
That's right.
He wasn't the worst before he became corrupted by the unholy power of the Grail, but so be it. Doesn't
That
excuse
was
what
truly
he's
the
doing
power
now.
of corrupted Grail.
Storm's ready.
We will use the power of friendship to defeat the Evil King.
That's right.
Or more
Power it
specifically,
is.
friendship and these fake court blessings that I found.
That's right.
It would be funny if there was a duo boon in here called friendship. Sadly, there is not a duo
Friendship.
blessing called friendship.
Huh.
I've checked the compendium.
Ah.
It would be funny.
It would
Devs,
be
if you
very
happen to
funny.
Devs, if you happen to see this, please, maybe?
Maybe, you know?
Would be funny. Probably not happening.
It would be
probably
PQ
not happening.
Huh.
Jokes aside, though, let's get on through Camelot. Camelot literally is just the bridge to the Round Table. And now we're in the Round Table. Hey, that was Camelot. Wonderful split there.
Hey!
Really fast split. That's got to be a gold split, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Jokes aside, we're now in the Round Table. This is a 5-stage gauntlet of extremely strong enemies before we fight Arthur. This is where your run can fall apart if you're not careful, but thankfully, we've got each other to fall back on if we need to. So even when things are not going quite right, you can still back it up pretty easily.
You'll die knowing you failed.
Ultimate ready.
Your ultimate does carry
Down.
over between phases here. It is a nice little benefit of this. Despite the challenge that you'll be dealing with, you do get to carry your ultimate over and make it a little bit easier. In theory, at least.
Much appreciated. As you can see, I just popped my ult right now. Very useful at taking out one of those enemies right off the bat.
Yep, and now we just have this last spellcaster to deal with. It really is just a matter of seeing what you need to deal with first and which enemy would be a larger risk to you. Ooh, Armored Skin is definitely something I want to take. Horn of Strength or gold.
I'll take the gold.
Yep.
Camelot was built on the corpses of better warriors than you.
Ult going out.
Vortex
They're
up.
so
Yep.
close together, it's a no-brainer there. Permafrost on that enemy.
Thank you. This last one. There it is.
Yep. And this will be the last wave. Let's go ahead and do the Fey Banner. Yeah.
Accomplish nothing.
Popping a potion for safety, just to regen a little bit.
Your ultimate is ready.
Alright, going in with ultimate, not getting what I wanted out of
Understood.
it. Finished off one at least. I guess I'll take Gogmagog again. Damage shield can stack up to 3 times, but that won't really help us here. We're gonna go ahead and do Landslide, why not? Whew, here we go. Final boss of the
Alright.
any percent run, King Arthur himself. But not quite yet. We do get a chance to restock, replenish, revitalize if we need to. I'm a little short on coins, so I'm going to go ahead and take a horn here, improve my damage there from my venom.
I'm picking up even more Oberon blessings. I'm building on a build that I've been building for this entire run, and it's starting to pay off.
Yep, perfect example of one build coming together, but the other just kind of becoming a ramshackle mess, but somehow still working. It takes knowledge of the game and its mechanics to put together builds on the fly when your default build doesn't work out. Arthur, for example, has his default build of always opening with these 3 slashes, and as soon as he realizes we can read that like a book because he always opens with it, and then this attack afterwards, he tries 2 things, but as soon as he realizes that those don't work because we know that pattern for his opening every single time, he does adapt and change things up.
Your ultimate is ready.
Proccing my ultimate there just to
Appreciate that.
dodge his attack there, not having to worry about his attack. And now Curry's going to be proccing his ultimate. And we're just taking down this boss without really too much of a problem. Arthur is a little easier in this first phase, but now we are in phase 2. He shakes off all the debuffs we've given him, and we have to just start from square 1 and hope that he doesn't do exactly that. This is probably the hardest attack to dodge in my opinion. Everything else is relatively easy to dodge, but this one is a bit of a pain in the butt.
Winter is here.
Using my ultimate to cross that fire without fear, and also regen a little bit more off of my potion. Curry just popping a quick emote there to style
Just
on
popping
King
an
Arthur.
emote.
Styling on King Arthur. Because why not? Ooh, got trapped in the corner. That's exactly where you don't want to be with that. That decreases the circumference of that circle significantly and makes it a lot harder to dodge.
Winter is here.
Ultimate going out. There we go. Double ultimate
There we
going
go.
in. You'll love to see it. Frostbite going in, which means we just restock that venom stack on him. And Arthur is down. The king is dead along with the king. That would be time on an any % run once we actually touch the Grail. And that would be time on an any % run. I believe that was just under 19 minutes. It was, or at least 19 minutes game time. Just about 30 and a half minutes. 30 minutes, 30 seconds. So a nice 30-30 split there. But for now, we're going to be making our way through this additional realm here towards Morgana, the true final boss of this run.
We've collected all the pieces of our Dispel Ring, and now we are inside the Holy Grail realm itself.
Or I suppose it's now an unholy grail with the corruption inside of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be inside this Holy Grail, yeah.
Yeah,
Not too pleasant.
it's the kind of holy grail that'll make you say, holy crap, man. What the heck is
Yep.
going on? It's like a very bad trip through time. But thankfully, not the worst on this difficulty, though it does get much worse even just going up onto night difficulty. Those enemies will have such a large amount of health that it takes a decent amount of time to take them down, even with a lot of the DPS and damage over time capabilities that we've done. Ooh, sadly wasting my ultimate there, and wasting a few seconds RTA for that. No time lost game time-wise, but a bit real time. And that is what you do have to keep aware of when you're running for real-time times with this game.
Yep, lots of small optimizations that can add up.
Yep, game time clock only runs while you're in combat, really. But otherwise, you're not worrying about too much.
Ultimate is
And
ready.
you do have to worry about that goop that is on that floor. The purple goop is dangerous. It will actually mess you up pretty bad. Reason being, if you stand in it, you lose some of your permanent max health. There are some ways to recover some of that health, but you can never get it all back entirely. To my knowledge, at least. And here we go, laying in more damage on these enemies. Just really doing damage over time here. That poison stack is really helping out a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and increase my max stacks of venom to hopefully deal more damage over time. The higher my count of venom stacks, the more damage they take per tick, so very, very useful. Hopefully it'll help us out against Morgana, but no guarantees there.
We shall see.
And again, that capability of the spell that I'm choosing to run, healing me up, keeping me just barely filled up on health. I am taking damage as we go, but not enough to start worrying. I'm at 43 health, but we're okay for now. Max health or horn, your call.
The health here.
Just a little bit of safety here right near the end of the run. Quick stretch while you're in transition there. Never a bad idea to stretch out while you have the time.
That's right, that's right. Take care of yourselves.
This is really where we've just gotten our builds to a state that we're comfortable with. We're falling into a flow, and we're just trying to conserve our focus and concentration for the final boss, which will be coming up right after this shot. This is a
I'll
chance
see if I can
to...
nab another blessing.
Yeah, which one do you want? Any of them?
You know what? I'll take a
Alright.
Gog.
I'll take Mob then. Venom will tick faster for me. And I'll just pick up the crystals because why not? Never mind, I'm poor now. Just poor enough that I can't afford it.
Got it.
But not a problem, that was really just going to be meta currency anyway, aka currency used outside of the main run. Not anything to really worry about. We are all set, and here we go against Morgana. Both of us have managed to carry all of our revives into this fight, and there is technically a non-zero chance that she could still beat us. She is very much an optional super boss at the end of the run, though she is much more survivable on this difficulty than any other difficulty. Even just one difficulty increase makes a major difference against her. And here we are really just working off of each other. The synergy developed over running together to know what we need from each other in the form of this run. Good job taking down that extra phase very quickly. That phase can cause a lot of problems because, as you saw, she spawned 3 clones of herself, and we couldn't hit the main body while she had those clones up. Very dangerous. Alright, we've made it to phase 2 without using any of our revives.
The final phase of Morgana.
Yep, I'm really just trying to stack up the venom on her to maximize damage over time here. Though sometimes she does get a lucky hit in like that, which means I've used the first of my revives. That's okay. Thankfully, down but not out. I'm really just laying in the damage here as best I can. We're going to use our ultimates in conjunction here just to take out those specters, those copies of Morgana as fast as possible. I'm going to probably do a little bit of a sacrifice play here, and there we go.
There it is.
Just locking in, bunkering down, and that is time once we interact with the crystallized statue of Morgana. 37:24 real time. Not bad at all, Curry. If I'm not mistaken, that is a personal best for us, going sub 40.
I believe so.
Yeah, very nice. So, as we said earlier, we'll likely be submitting any percent as a co-op run, possibly Morgana percent as a co-op run submission as well, and at the very least, any percent with an upgrade to Morgana percent incentive. We did also mention the potential of upgrading to night difficulty, though that will be an incentive we would have to submit later, as we have not been able to get that quite as consistent as we'd like yet. Once we've gotten it more consistent, we'd definitely be willing to reconsider that in the future. Curry, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Not much for me, other than thank you so much for watching. This has been a great passion project of ours recently, given that the game just launched about a month ago, and we hope you give it some consideration, given how much fun this game is. We really hope you enjoyed it.
Especially with the fact that we are here together, it would be a chance for us to do a live co-op game on stage. It would be really nice, and not many games of this type have co-op capabilities. You see it all the time with Halo, Call of Duty, things like that, but a good roguelike that everyone can get behind and enjoy, simple mechanics done perfectly, just like Hades or Hades 2 and other games of that sort. But Sworn is the only one I know of that has co-op this good. So, until next time, thank you for watching.